What is the histopathology? How process occur in the histopathology laboratory? Well, the process occur in the histopathology laboratory is easy as ABC, and the sample must handle in a very careful condition. Histopathology is consist towards histo means by tissue, while pathology is the study about cause and effect of the disease. While the combination of the two words, histopathology means the study of about the abnormal tissue due to the disease. So, before we study the tissue under the microscope, we must prepare the tissue slide to examine the tissue. From my experience and my research, regarding my topic, I would like to share with my teachers and my classmates about the basic step in the histopathological process that occur in the histopathology laboratory. First and foremost, firstly step, we receive the sample from the ward or the operation theatre. After that, we put the tissue, abnormal tissue, into the fixative substance, which is suggest 10% of formalin. That's called the tissue fixation. The importance of the tissue fixation is to prevent the tissue from the autolysis and the bacterial infection. After that, after 30 minutes, the histopathologist, which are assisted by the MLT, grows the tissue into a tiny cut of the tissue and put into the cassette. And then all the cassette put in a tissue processor for 1 day. Okay, put the tissue in the tissue processor means the tissue processing. The tissue processing is to treat the tissue and implemented the tissue into the solidified medium to make tissue sectioning sufficiently firm and elastic to be cut. After 1 day, we put the infiltrated and impregnated tissue into the paraffin wax to solidify the tissue. After that, we proceed to the tissue sectioning, which is cut the tissue block into a ribbon using the microtome. After sectioning, we put the tissue ribbon into the fishing for picking process. Picking process is to pick the slide, to adhere the tissue on the slide for the next process. After that, the next process is tissue staining. The tissue staining is to coloring the tissue to differentiate and to view the tissue. But before this, the tissue is colorless. After the staining, the tissue was colored and easier to the histopathologist to examine under the microscope. And then, last but not least, tissue mounting. Tissue mounting is the process that put the cover slip on the cover slide using the DPX. The function of the tissue mounting is to provide the refractive angle of the slide and to prevent the slide and the tissue for scratching and removal of the tissue from the slide. And in a conclusion, the process must be do in a sequences and correct, because to avoid the misinterpretation and to avoid the misdiagnosis and to avoid the mistreatment to the patient. Because if we mistreatment to the patient, we can cause a very big mistake. The patient should be fatal if we treat in a mistreatment. And then all these process are very important in the histopathological lab. That's all for me. Thank you.